Okay, we'll call the meeting to order
Okay.
and have a roll call.
Hildy Angus, are you on the line?
I'm here.
Mike Hendricks? Here. Cora Lloyd?
I'm here. I'm here.
Roger Jacks?
Here.
Arden Loxman?
Here.
Verlyn Tennell?
Here.
Susie Duranzo?
Here.
And Salvatore Scarmato? Mr. Scarmato? Okay, we have a quorum, so we can proceed.
Okay, we'll turn the time over to Mr. Collins.
Okay, Madam Chair and members, for the record, my name is Aaron Collins. I'm the president of Aaron Collins and Associates. We are the consultant to the Mojave County Employee Benefit Trust. And what I'm presenting today is the follow-up action from the renewal meeting pertaining primarily to mental health and substance abuse. So just for purposes of the record, what I'd like to do is summarize the memo and the staff recommendations, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. So when we completed the meeting on March 27th, we were asked to go back and look at two primary issues. The first was the cancellation of the current employee assistance program vendor. I think it was assumed that we would in fact non-renew the contract as of July 1. We then were asked to look into the issue of could we do an early cancellation, with the primary concerns being whether or not people had access in the meantime, whether or not it was worth paying. So I reached out to the president of the company, Elizabeth Holman, and did determine that there were currently 11 people who were either actively receiving services from the providers or who had received clearance to do so and had been accepted for treatment. So my recommendation on that one is to just let them complete in a non-disruptive way the services that they have through June 30th. You are under no obligation, obviously, to do that. The recommendation is simply based on not wanting to disrupt the services that are in force, or excuse me, or they're ongoing. The second item is related to revising the mental health and substance abuse counseling benefits. These are all outpatient and office visit type services to incorporate and to kind of integrate the psych services that are available through Teladoc. And for background, the primary concern here is similar to the EAP, it's identical to the EAP, which is the lack of providers in the county, period. I will just note that that is not unique to Mojave County, that there generally across the nation there's a severe shortage of mental health and substance abuse practitioners. In rural areas, it just tends to be worse. By incorporating the Teladoc option, basically it will expand the availability of both prescribers and non-prescribers in the mental health arena. So what we did is we proposed to split out the current benefit to kind of mirror what we're doing on the medical side, which is outpatient, to do a $30 copay for non-prescribers. So these are let me check this, psychologists and counselors who are contracted through Blue Cross, and then with the prescribers to do a $50 copay. So that basically goes to like the primary care and specialist. So we mirrored that, and then we integrated in the scale of services that Teladoc offers, both for the EPO and the high deductible health plan, and we basically did lesser copays that are there. The only thing I would note on the high deductible health plan is that under federal law, and because of the IRS issues that come involved, you have to have the beneficiary pay 100% of the cost, so they did. So those are built in there. I then ran that schedule past Meritain to make sure they could administer it, that it would not create a problem, because what we did is said there's currently a 30 visit max per year. Could they administer it where that 30 was split? Was consolidated, whether it was in person or Teladoc? They said they could. And then we had the actuary from Buck Consultants determine what the pricing would be. It came out as a wash. So he said basically you can absorb that without having to make an additional rate change. I think the reasoning for that is the Teladoc build rates are lower than what were assumed for the in-person. So the only thing left was the 35 cents PEPM per employee per month to purchase the service from Teladoc. So just, again, it's all in the memo, but to run through kind of some of the high points. The main thing I would say to you is that doing this is an imperfect solution, primarily because on the Teladoc side, they don't have substance abuse, okay? Whereas they can go for 3 visits now, asterisk if you can get in, on the EAP side. But there are community resources available for things like alcohol and gambling and narcotics through Anonymous. What this does, it gives people a viable solution as a way to get some mental health support services, and it also gives us time to work with Ken and his staff to construct an RFP that we hope will get us a more responsive provider, okay? I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. I also note that the current provider is doing case management services on mental health and substance abuse. That will revert back to American Health Group. There will not be an additional charge for that. It's done hourly on either case. And then, so we attached the revised budget. I'm sorry, 2 other things. We dropped the recommendation for the Livongo whole person out of the budget, just because we did not think we could have time, given all of the issues everybody's facing, to do a survey of interest on the part of employees. We will bring that back next year, having done that survey. And I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, and then we included no provision, we made no financial provision for the Sheriff's Office Fitness for Duty or Sex Crimes Unit program. So we've left the EAP money in the budget under the assumption that we will then bring it forward next year, and frankly, we're doing a rate pass anyways, so we just left the line item in. And I will be happy to answer any questions that the trustees or staff may have.
Madam Chairman. Aaron, if I recall from our last meeting, it was mentioned, and unbeknownst to me, was that the sheriff had coverage for what he believed was necessary for his people. Do you remember that conversation?
I do, Madam Chair. Mike, I know that he has a provider that's being used by a number of law enforcement agencies around the state out of Prescott, so I know he's got the vehicle in place. In other words, he's got some place he can send people to do the counseling.
So, and I'm assuming you're going to need a motion to pursue with HR, unless we did that last time. I can't remember if we did. A RFP for services. Would that include checking with the sheriff and seeing if he wanted to be included and separating from what's being provided to him now?
Madam Chair, Mike, I hadn't considered that, but we can include that as an option in the RFP. I should say we should include the conversation with the sheriff if he wanted to have that service included in the RFP.
Yes.
It's a very specific set of requirements, so we could it's one we could articulate.
And see if we can provide him better service through that type of a unified program instead of him having that by himself.
We could absolutely incorporate that.
And then I would assume, Madam Chairman, that would be up to the sheriff whether he wanted to go with us or continue what he's doing now.
That would not present a challenge from our side.
Okay.
Other questions?
Madam Chairman, this is Susie. I would like to ask Ken, would there be notification to employees about the termination of EAP so that they're not going to be feeling like they're out in the limp out there and there's no option for them? So would that be part of the HR group to do that?
Susie, yes, it will be, but I'm going to have Jade talk about, because she's been drafting a memo for staff. So if it's all right, I'll just have Jade answer that piece.
Hello. So the notification will be done. It actually is done via video presentation. I will be discussing the transition away from the Holman Group. I also make note that we are looking at expanding Teladoc. And if everything goes as planned today, or as I'm assuming, then that will be made available to all the employees and they will be notified. We are transitioning away from the Holman Group as soon as I get back to my office.
Okay, thank you.
So they don't get a written notification, just a video that they're advised to watch. Is that correct?
There is also a written notification. It will be both. I apologize for not clarifying that.
Thank you. Any other questions on the phone? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, is this motion then for an RFP, or is it the motion that's in our packet?
Madam Chair, the suggested motion for the action is on the cover page, Roger.
Yes.
And the RFP is just background information explaining what our intent is, how to follow it up.
So we can move forward with the motion?
Yeah, that motion would cover what's being requested today.
And is that going to include the discussion that Mike had, or is that in addition to the motion?
Yeah, no, it's not an addition. We just make note of what Mike has requested relative to the sheriff's office, and when I move forward with Ken and Jade, we'll incorporate that into the RFP, or the discussion with the sheriff.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Move to approve the 2020-21 budget and rates as presented, including cancellation of the Hoffman-Holman EAP HB 2350 and mental health/substance abuse case management contract effective June 30th, 2020, and implementing Teladoc mental health services effective July 1st, 2020, all as shown in the memo describing with this item.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything further?
Madam Chair, we have nothing from our side.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Recess.
Thank you.
Has left the conference.